What is up, TEW fans? This is Jolly J, and I'm bringing you the first introduction episode to Freedom Caribbean Wrestling. FCW, this is my first TEW series to do, and I'm pretty excited about it. I chose FCW for a number of reasons, actually. I wanted to do a regional company, small to regional. I wanted to do a company in the USA because that's what I'm most familiar with. And I did not want to do a hardcore company. That eliminated several. I did not want to do one of the female wrestling companies because I'm not very familiar with that with those workers, at least the regional workers. And I did not want to do a promotion that I'm currently watching a series on. So that eliminated pretty much all but Freedom Caribbean Wrestling, which is just fine. I think it is going to be a fun series. I think it is a product that I'm going to do fairly well with. And let's look at the product right now. So when we look at the product for Freedom Caribbean Wrestling, we see key feature of traditional, which is good versus evil. Heavy on the mainstream and lucha libre. So mainstream sports entertainment, and lucha libre, of course, fun, goofy characters with fast-paced action. Then we have modern and realism, so more fast-paced action with modern, and a little slower approach with realism. Hard-hitting, athletic contests, and that kind of seems contradictory, but I think it's more all matches are athletic based because of that. The realism and the lucha libre makes athleticism very important. And so I think if you attended an FCW or a Freedom Caribbean Wrestling event, you would see a variety of matches from high flying lucha libre action to just slower, more methodical, hard hitting matches as well. So more on performance than popularity. Um, we need a high spots, car crash, or still a show match every card, as well as a storytelling match every card, which is not too bad, not too hard to do all of that. So with that being said, that's our product. So very performance based, however, storylines are very important as well. And that's what I want. I want to be able to tell stories. I want to be able to build characters and just have fun with the game. We will go over the roster briefly, very briefly, because I'm not a fan of the roster at the start here. I think it is not fitting for the product and what they're aiming to do. So we'll just go over a couple of things. We'll go over a couple of main eventers here. Puerto Rican Power, pretty much the icon, the legend, the absolute star of Puerto Rican wrestling, has faced the likes of Sam Strong, Ripcord, started Freedom Caribbean Wrestling in 2007 with his friend Sean Gonzalez. Sean passed, unfortunately, and now Puerto Rican Power is the sole owner operator of Freedom Caribbean Wrestling, and he is the user character. It seems kind of cheap to do that because you don't pay him, but I mean, he's the owner of the company. His profit is what the company makes. His income is what the company makes. So that is the legend, the legendary Puerto Rican Power. And if we look at popularity, he is pretty over everywhere, but look at Puerto Rico, 90 overness, just insane for a regional company to have that sort of overness. Kirk Jameson, he's probably going to be gone before our first event. He gets signed pretty quickly because he is a fantastic worker with very high star quality. We have Hell's Bouncer, our current Puerto Rican champion. Hell's Bouncer, extremely menacing, as you can see there. I would pull up you know what, I will pull up the skills. Pretty poor top row with brawling and hardcore, the only good stats. And second row, not too bad except for selling and stamina. And those are two big drawbacks, but hopefully his menace and star quality will make up for it. But he is our current champion. And then rounding out the main eventers right now, we have Handsome Stranger and Billy Russell, two characters, both over 40 years old. One and the same, really. I mean, similar stats, similar, what am I looking for? What am I looking for? Just similar workers in general, pretty average stats. If we go to the upper mid card, and this is really what drives home why the roster is not what it needs to be. Giant Brody, pretty poor worker, not very good in the ring here. Some decent brawling and hardcore stats, but other than that, pretty poor overall. Great menace and decent star quality to go with it. Jesus Chavez and Rudy Velasquez, 2/3 of the Latino Kings. These are decent workers. I think they fit a lot better. They have good performance skills, some pretty good top row skills as well, brawling, hardcore. Uh, Jesus is more of your brawler, whereas Rudy is a mixture of brawling and technical wrestling and aerial wrestling as well. Rudy's kind of the overall better worker right now, but we'll see if that changes. Oh, I meant to go over very briefly these two. Leper Messiah, 40 years old, just one of those big heavyweight workers who's not that great. I don't think he fits very well with the product anymore. Same with Ox Mastodon. He is obese super heavyweight, just not good. It's just, I mean, come on. Good safety, but everything else is very subpar. He is the People's Champion, though, which we'll go over the titles shortly. Mid Carter's another big heavyweight worker. Bull wrecker, average all around, good brawling and hardcore, but other than that, nothing to really write home about. Carlos Gonzalez, I should just fire him right now. I don't like him. He's not even mediocre in the ring. Awful star quality, and he's a very negative influence. So he's going to be gone. I'll just tell you that now. Hector Galindo, he is the last of the Latino Kings, the last third. And another, pretty mediocre performance skills. His top row, again, below average, except for his flashiness, which is the highest among the group. So whereas Jesus is your brawler, and then Rudy is your all-around performer, Hector is more of your flashy, high-flying performer of the group. Joffrey Lane, excellent entertainment skills, which is great to have. That will really help him. He needs to work on his selling and a little bit on his stamina as well. But with those entertainment skills, we can do a lot with him. King Kong Kennedy, he has a team with Ox Mastodon. He's another super heavyweight who is obese. And he has a couple of good skills, but overall, I mean, stamina of 35, just terrible stamina. Kip Keenan, we have a good technical independent wrestler here. Chain wrestling and mat wrestling in the 60s, not bad. Basics, pretty good. He needs to work on psychology and selling, though, as do a lot of people in the indie scene. But his star quality, not bad at all. So he could be in store for some good things in the company. Tex Tegan, I think is what you would say there. A brawler, another brawler for the company. Decent in the ring. His psychology needs a lot of work, but other than that, he's not awful. He's not awful. He's definitely better than some of the other big heavyweights of the company. Our lower mid carders, this is where the company starts to shine. Davis Wayne Newton, an excellent worker. He doesn't really show it yet. He's got some improving to make, especially in some consistency. But he has the brawling, he has the aerial and flashiness, he has the chain wrestling, the star quality. He is set up for success, even though he has an awful gimmick. Maybe we can fix that. So hopefully he stays around a while because he can be a very big part of the roster. Island Boy Apollo, similar to Davis Wayne Newton, not as high of star quality, but still solid brawling. He's another brawler. Davis Wayne Newton is just a regular wrestler. But Island Boy Apollo, we have a brawler with some flashiness mixed in there, nothing to look over, and good in-ring skill or performance skills as well, with some passable stamina and decent entertainment skills. Island Boy Apollo is currently the tag team champion, the FCW tag team champion, with Kid San Juan. As you can see, his stats in the ring are a bit lower than Island Boy Apollo. Kid San Juan's a bit more technical, even though he has a luchador style. He is more flashy than Island Boy Apollo. So in the tag team, Island Boy Apollo is basically your brawler type wrestler, your more physical wrestler, and then Kid San Juan comes in with his technical high flying skills and really confuses their opponents. Um, but as you can see, his star quality is quite a bit lower. Uh, but overall, the skills are pretty similar. Mutant, another big heavyweight on the roster. Getting tired of these, but he is 21 years old and is already better than a lot of the other big heavyweights on the roster, with high star quality as well. I wish his menace was higher, because if it was, he could be in for a good run. However, we'll just have to see how well he improves, if he can improve, to see if he can contribute uh, to the roster. And then our last lower mid carder, Rob Reynolds. He is, to me, he's like your jack of all trades. He is, I'll just pull up his skills to show you. He is good at everything, but not great at anything. And he's even not very good at a couple of things like psychology and selling. So he's got quite a bit of improvement to make there, but he can contribute. And so we'll just see how well he does. And then lastly, our opener, Curtis Shaw, light heavyweight, ripped light heavyweight, even though his star quality does not reflect that physique. But he is an opener. He is another brawler, even though his brawling is a bit lower than others. In the ring, not great. Performance-wise, not too great either. Very bad selling, very bad stamina. So not a great worker right now. We'll see if he can improve as well. So that's the roster. We've already looked at the product. Let's check out the teams right quick. 937-pound Express, King Kong Kennedy, and Ox Mastodon. I mean, what do you expect? They're big, obese heavyweights, and that's pretty much how they win matches. Latino Kings, we've gone over both of them. So here we have Hector and Rudy, which would be your high flyer and your all-around wrestler of the Latino Kings. I think, is that right? I think so. Yeah, Jesus, I think, is the brawler. Yeah. Puerto Rican Boys, Island Boy Apollo, Kid San Juan, great tag team. Really complement each other. And then the Wasteland Warriors, who we will learn were the previous tag team champions when we look at the titles here. Current champions, Puerto Rican Boys, won it from Bullwrecker and Mutant in July of last year with 4 defenses to their name there. We have the People's Championship, currently owned by Ox Mastodon for some reason. But what I've seen people do, and what I always like to do, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who does this, is I pretty much just get rid of the People's Championship or the mid-card championship in general, is basically what I mean. And I do that because it's hard for me to book with a mid-card championship in a regional promotion, because the wrestlers can go up to main event from mid-card pretty quickly, and it's just not, to me, it's not fun to have that happen. I don't like having main eventers carry mid-card championships, especially when I had plans for them in the mid-card and then they jump to the main event. So I'd prefer just to not even have a mid-card championship. And so we are going to just retire that right there. Get that retired. And now we just have 2 championships at the moment. That will change, but right now we just have the tag team and our Puerto Rican championship, who are our Puerto Rican champion, who is, of course, Hell's Bouncer. He won it also in July of 2015, week 1. And 3 title defenses. He won it from Puerto Rican Power, the 5-time Puerto Rican champion. But he won it from him, and I don't think, no, it doesn't list any. I wish it showed his last defense. But those are our championships. And if we look at our creative meeting, franchise players, of course, Puerto Rican Power right at the top. Jameson, Hell's Bouncer, Handsome Stranger, and Billy Russell. Your main event scene right there. We just looked at them. Hot Prospects, Next Big Things, rather. Kid San Juan is at the top of the Next Big Things. Hot Prospects, Kid San Juan, Davis Wayne Newton, Joffrey Lane, Mutant, and Island Boy Apollo. Talk the talk, Joffrey Lane right at the top. Bradford Peveril, who we didn't see in the roster overview. Let's look at him now. He is out injured with a ruptured spleen for another 3 months and a week. But very good worker. Actually, one of my favorites in the game for indie wrestling. He has a decent top row. I mean, he's 110% a brawler, no question about it. And his second row here, his performance skills, not bad at all. Really good in ring. He needs a bit more selling, but other than that, very workable skills there. And his entertainment skills are pretty good as well. But he's hurt. He's going to be out another 3 months. We also have for the, this is Talk the Talk, right? Yeah. Handsome Stranger, Kip Keenan. Kip Keenan, really? I guess his microphone and charisma is not bad. And then Rudy Velasquez to round it out. Showstoppers, Newton, Velasquez, Jameson, Stranger, and Apollo. Ring Generals, Velasquez, Jameson, Stranger, Power, and Newton. Who's hot? Nobody. Who's not? Nobody. We have no active momentum right now, apparently. Time Decline, Billy Russell, and Puerto Rican Power. That's right. The icon of FCW starts the game in Time Decline. If you aren't familiar with Time Decline, which I'm sure you are, but if you aren't familiar with it, basically essential stats are going to decrease every month. And so his stamina, his consistency, selling, these skills are going to get worse, and so he's going to become a worse and worse performer, which is very unfortunate because he's so over. Hidden Gems, Frantic Ali, Ant-Man, Sid Collier, Cali Slick, and The Architect. Like I said, I don't like the starting roster, so there are going to be a lot of roster changes. However, I'm not going to go over those because I want it to be part of the show. I'm going to do, I said earlier, very storyline-based and character-based shows. So it's pretty much going to be me starting at the event show and going through the event, telling the stories, going through the matches and everything. And then we'll just end the video after that and start at the next show. That's pretty much going to be the format. What else do we have? Stables. Only stable is Latino Kings. Announcers, Lee Bambino and Q-Ball Lynch. And if we look at our size here, we are 26 importance in Puerto Rico and 32 popularity. Schedule, we have a monthly schedule. Backstage, like I said, Carlos Gonzalez, very negative. Jesus Chavez, actually also a negative influence, but those are the only two. And you can see the Latino Kings are all friends as well. And we don't have a developmental company or any child companies. We are Bradford Pepperell is the only one out. Do we have a Hall of Fame? We don't have a Hall of Fame yet. Broadcasting, nothing to look at there. All right, so I think that covers everything. So next episode, we will start and do the first event of the series. FCW presents Freedom Fighters in, well, 11 days from now. A lot's going to change between now and then. I will go over some roster stuff and some behind-the-scenes stuff in separate videos, but as far as just the events themselves, those are going to be their own videos. So, I will see you guys next time for that first event, and I really hope you guys are excited about this series. I know I am. Can't wait to get started, but I will see you for Freedom Fighters. Thanks for watching.